Yo, this is Hidokiri Kurtai, and welcome to the Episode 2 Tips. Episode 2 is usually when people just stop thinking and give up on trying to solve the mystery, not able to understand how to deal with the whole magic element of the story. If I remember correctly, Episode 3 actually had to be toned down in difficulty and actually provide a few explanations just because of that. I wish I could remember what the title of Episode 3 was offhand. Odds are, as soon as I stop recording, I will probably remember it anyways. But anyways, on to the tips. Portrait's no different, which letter's basically exactly the same. The letter from that Jessica read. The other letter that Beatrice left. Pretty much all the stuff that we saw before. Which is game record, which is pretty much about the same. And the butterfly brooch. This object arranges all fate variables in favor of a manner to the form of relationships between the sexes. This leads to nothing more than a favorable arrangement of variables, so its strength differs widely depending on the individuals in question. Hence of which, bestowing such items must make sure beforehand that the receiver will be able to use it effectively, or she risks being called a liar. The activation cost is enormous, but it's no more useful than the average person than an ordinary brooch. However, blind love is easily capable of paying this enormous price, and if the target of the receiver's affection feels affection in turn, the brooch's effect increases even more dramatically. Ironically, the more dramatic its effect, the less one would need such a brooch in the first place. Not really much for the normal tips, so moving on to the characters. Alright, so might as well go in order once again with each of the Twilights. Kraus. Corpse is found in the chapel. Direct cause of his death is unknown, but it seems his stomach was cut open and his intestines pulled out after death. On top of that, sweets and candies were packed into his stomach. Welcome, Maria. Happy Halloween. That's a he. The corpse is found in the chapel. Cause of death unknown. Her stomach was cut open, intestines. Didn't I tell you stomachs are packed full of candy? Ava. Everyone has a stomach filled with sweet dreams. Hideyoshi. Why would anything filthy be inside someone's stomach? Rudolph. This is why we want to be as sweet and innocent as candy. Kyrie. And so I give you the land of dreams. Happy Halloween. Alright. Second Twilight. Jessica and Canon. Jessica. Found her own room in the mansion with a weapon shaped like a stake rammed into her back. Finally, at the very end, she got to be with the person she loved. She must have been happy. Canon. The witch erased his corpse for him. That alone caused an incredible uneasiness amongst the survivors. If that which exists resides in the human world, then that which does not exist is truly fantasy. Fantasy takes the form of whatever they fear. Oh, we can exit. Okay. There is no corpse, and yet he is dead. The witch said so in red, so he's definitely is dead, even though there's no corpse. I couldn't remember if you could execute him twice or not. I don't think you can do that with anybody else. I was just curious. Let's see. Fourth Twilight was Nanjo and Kumasala, I believe. I forget which one was in which order. Died in the servant room. His throat sliced open by a sharp blade or something similar. However, this alone wasn't enough. Had gone missing, was later found in the courtyard. At that time, it had a weapon shaped like a stake rammed into his knee. But this is seventh Twilight. Gotcha. Right, oh yeah, they were after the other one, right. Though the order that they were killed. Whatever. Then in the servant room, her throat sliced open by a sharp blade or something similar. The finishing touches are yet to come. Corpse which has gone missing, later found in the courtyard. Stake with this eighth Twilight. Let's see, after that, it was Shannon, Goda, and George. I think Shannon was first. Yep. Died in Natsu's room with her forehead pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. At the fourth Twilight, gouged the head and kill. Spent her last moments with her beloved. George was next. Goda was next. Okay. Died in Natsu's room with his stomach pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. At the sixth Twilight, gouged the stomach and kill. It is possible that they would have ended up as the second Twilight. Goda. Died in Natsu's room, chest pierced. Fifth Twilight, gouged the chest and kill. The cook was cooked. Alright, and then we have our 5 survivors. Well, 6 survivors, technically. Right, Kinzo. Missing. He finally reached the golden land he so desired to see. However, since a fool was unwilling to accept it, the magic was wasted once again. Even so, he was probably happy. After all, he managed to be reunited with the Golden Witch, if only for a brief time. Afterwards, he was crushed to bits and eaten by demons and went to hell. Beatrice, we can't kill. Oh, okay. Mysterious visitor and 19th person who appeared on the day of the family conference goes by the name of the Golden Witch who gave the gold to Kinzo. Her reasons for visiting are unknown. She was ushered into the VIP room, which no one had been allowed to use in the past. I thought so. Genji. Missing. Selfless furniture seeks nothing but repose in the Golden Land. However, since a fool obstinately rejects the Golden Land, it seems his time of repose is unlikely to come soon. Afterwards, he was torn to pieces and eaten by demons and went to hell. Rosa. Missing. In the Golden Land, she was finally found a treasure more precious than gold. However, it only lasted a brief time. Because of a fool, she was forced to once again lose what she had finally found. Afterwards, she was chewed into pulp by demons and went to hell. Missing. In the Golden Land, she learned that her mother still truly loved her. At least for now, she is satisfied. And lastly, Battler. Missing. He did surrender to the witch at one point, but he pulled himself together and regained his will to fight. I see. So the witch's Battler makes a great toy for smashing. That explains why she's always breaking him, fixing him, and breaking him again. Torture is meaningless if you kill the subject. You gotta alternate between causing pain and letting them rest. Yeah, can't go for it again. Also, you have a new page for all of our meta characters, which I don't believe we can execute any of them anyways. Endless Witch lived 1,000 years, known for being exceptionally cruel even amongst witches. She loves bullying the weak and is capable of using trial and error endlessly to find the cruelest fate that can possibly be given. And she toys with her victims even further by piling one after another. This witch is extremely powerful, but word has it that she sometimes becomes obsessed with creating certain patterns, so her means end up becoming her goals. Yeah, you can't execute her. Witch of Miracles, who lived for 1,000 years. Vast power is capable of creating all kinds of miracles, but her heart was broken as a result. Back when she was human, Lambda Delta once imprisoned her in a cruel fate, toying with her the whole time. As a result, she seems to be unable to abandon others who are caught in a similar fate. Theoretically, she's a witch with the greatest of powers, but in practice, this is no more realistic than folding a piece of paper 100 times so that it reaches the moon. And yet she did fold it 100 times. Yeah, Burnt Castle, aka a character from Higurashi. Sorta, kinda? I mean, I guess she's basically the like the personality of all the dead Rikas that didn't get a happy ending or something. Because Rika did refer to herself as Frederica Burncastle. I had to remember her first name. It's Fruide Rika as one name. Anyways, Lambda. Lambda Delta, Witch of Certainty, who lived for 1,000 years. She embodies the idea that hard workers are rewarded and is revered even by humans. Though she is a witch, she does not stray far from the concept of humans. For that reason, her power as one worshipped by humans is incalculable. However, she is fickle about those whose efforts she chooses to reward, and in many cases she bestows her favor upon those who entertain her the most. Her immense, swift, and terrifying power makes any witch surrender in an instant. However, she is often reckless, and Brinkcastle was able to take full advantage of that. Yeah, just making sure that I can't execute those two. Seven Sisters of Purgatory. Advanced level furniture created by Beatrice. They can sometimes act on their own, but they cannot disobey the orders of their master. They are quite powerful while in their human forms, but when they return to their true forms as the Seven Sticks of Purgatory and fly at the enemy at high speeds, they display their true terrifying potential. Asmodeus is the Seven Sisters. She's a girl at that age where they want a boyfriend. She'd give up her life for love. Now, I believe if I keep clicking on this, I get a different sister every time. Yep. There's Lucifer, haughty and arrogant. However, she actually feels pleasure at the submission. Beelzebub, true gourmet. She'd use any ingredients to make a good meal, even her own body. Leviathan's second sister. She's nothing but a crybaby who's jealous all the time. She'll do whatever it takes to get what she wants. Mammon is the fifth sister, very greedy. Once she decides she wants something, she'll sacrifice anything and everything to get it. Satan is the third sister, very quick to anger. However, she actually wants others to be angry at her. There's Leviathan again. I know I haven't seen Belphegor yet. There she is. Belphegor, fourth sister. She's sensible and reliable. Because of this, she corrupts her masters. I think that was all of them. Yeah, that's all of them. Self-taught sorcerer. His natural talent and level of knowledge is nothing special, but when his nearly insane powers of concentration and dedication were transformed into magical power, he awakened as a great sorcerer. His power is at least great enough that he was able to summon Beatrice and form a contract with her. Although his power is great, it is also extremely limited. He specializes in summoning and barriers, so it's perhaps fitting to call him a summoner. An unfortunate young man whom Beatrice has taken a liking to. a human who inherited the black blood from Kinzo. His massive resistance to magical power Kinzo was born with was passed on to Battler. Ironically, it was this trait that made it so hard for Kinzo to succeed as a magician. A massive defensive power against magic can be, even by itself, a decisive battle against a witch. Kinzo has begun to lose his power with age, but young Battler's power is still on the rise. Perhaps it is understandable that Beatrice tried to crush it as soon as possible. A little magician who inherited the black blood from Kinzo. Unlike Kinzo, she was gifted with talent and began to tread the path of the magician from a young age. However, her power is still weak, and she still hasn't graduated from an apprentice level. However, she is skilled with enchantments and which bestow magical power upon objects, and the magical items she creates are all masterclass. Kinzo's earliest furniture, which he created to serve him and him alone with complete loyalty. Although he was Kinzo's first creation, he was made with the help of a high-class demon. So while there are several defects in his initial specifications, he still conceals a great potential within himself. In the many years following that, he continued to mature and compensate for his many deficiencies, turning himself into a nearly flawless butler furniture that he is now. He is approaching the limit of his service life, and the magical power he can unleash for an instant rivals Kinzo's. Shannon is, in the truest sense, Kinzo's handmade furniture, which he created without borrowing the power of demons. Though there are a few problems with her initial specifications, she was given a very rare and precious thing, a heart. It seems that as a result of his long personal experience, Kinzo began to believe that the power created by the heart contained within it a strong magic. In the lengthy span of time following that, she began to mature, becoming exceptionally skilled with powers of a protective and repulsive nature, such as magical barriers. Because of this, in the realm of barriers alone, she possesses immense magician-class power. So far, he is the last furniture created by Kinzo. Making use of all of his previous experience, Kinzo managed to implement a set of flawless specs. Shannon was also given a heart, but was much weaker than Shannon's. Perhaps because Kinzo felt a sense of approaching personal danger related to his fortune that he reared the end of his life, he bestowed Shannon with the rare power to fight and protect. However, he hasn't yet matured very far and is unable to properly control his own power and speed. And that's it for the tips for the most part. You might have noticed that the Red Truth is actually nowhere in here for whatever reason. And that's kind of a shame because Red Truth is very important. I do plan to place the Red Truth in the description of this video since, well, it's a bit too much of a pain for me to just edit it in, and I'm far too lazy to even bother trying. Just remember, the Red Truth can be pretty tricky at times. Both context and the time it's mentioned in the game can be important sometimes. It's just something to keep in mind. But just because it is the truth doesn't mean that the Red Truth itself cannot be dishonest. And just the same, in this typical type of narrative, in the story is more like most detective stories, where if our detective character, like Battler's for instance, is present, you can view that scene as being completely truthful. But if he isn't present, then not everything can be taken seriously, as you can see with the magic scenes and whatnot, especially if you're looking at this from a detective point of view. There is truth mixed in with those lies, and the cast usually does not act out of character during those scenes, so it's good to pay attention to that. Anyways, that's all for episode 2. Next time we'll be starting episode 3, Banquet of the Golden Witch. Later!